Good morning, guys. This is Rusty 78609, Central Texas, USA, and it is cold, cold, cold. 35 degrees. Damn. 8:01 a.m. Central Standard Time, January the 4th, 2017. Thought you was going to catch me on that one, didn't you? Not old Rusty. Old sharp as a needle mind me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to do my walking at Wally World because it's too damn cold to do it at home. For you new guys, I live in Central Texas, USA. I full-time RV and go camping in a car. I've done full-time RVing for over 20 years, and I've camped in a car for the last 4. If you're interested in either one of those, check out my playlist on my homepage, Rusty78609. Just click on playlists and select the one you want to watch. So having gotten the advertisement out of the way, we'll move right along with this exciting video. I'm on Park Road 4 in Central Texas, USA. The sun's just coming up good. Park Road 4 runs by Inks Lake State Park and over here by Longhorn Caverns. Longhorn Caverns is 4 miles from my home base. And Inks Lake State Park is about 4 or 5 miles from my home base in the Texas Hill Country. That's what they call it. Central Texas is the Texas Hill Country, or commonly known as the Highland Lakes, because we've got several lakes in this area. Pretty area of Texas. If you got to live somewhere, this ain't bad. Got a lot of comments. I appreciate it. I really do. I got my hot tea. God almighty, it's cold in this car. My hands are cold. Turn the heat on. Heat on. Hands still cold. Wow. I don't know how you people live in the north. I mean, God damn. I was in Mongolia in the Peace Corps one time, 1994 and 5. I gotta tell you this, folks. This Texas boy froze his hiney off. Woo! In September, it was already cold. Damn. That's a memory I'll never forget. I know what you people up north feel. I felt it. I didn't know what sub-zero was, but I found out. I'll tell you what sub-zero is. Cold! That's what it is. Shit. Woo! Even inside it was cold. But anyway, topic for the day. The topic for the day is apropos because it's about companies going bankrupt. I was a CPA for about 20 years, a certified public accountant. Some people call it a bean counter. Well, I was one of those, but I worked in public accounting and private accounting. Public accounting, you'd go out and do audits on these major corporations. That was fun. And then in private accounting, it's pretty much routine. You do the same thing over and 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 over. And anyway, it's much easier than public accounting. It's less stressful by far, or at least it was for me. Maybe other people don't have it that way. Anyway, bankruptcy. The reason I'm going to talk about it is because I have a company in mind that may be fixing to do it called ELIO. ELIO, I don't think is going to make it. That's just my own private personal opinion, so don't attack me too hard for that. I've looked at their numbers, and man, unless they get a cash infusion from somebody, a big one, they are out pretty damn soon. I don't think they'll make the rest of this year. That's my own personal opinion. They might, but I'd be damn surprised. They've moved the production date now from the late 2016. Well, they went from late 16 to late 17. Now they've gone to late 2018. So they're running out of steam, boys and girls. But anyway, I lived in San Antonio, Texas when I was going to college. I was in accounting, majored in accounting, of course. And I got a job at Swear Engine Aircraft in San Antonio, Texas. It was out at the airport, and they manufactured aircraft, and it was called a Swear Engine Aircraft. It was a Merlin aircraft. They made a Merlin 1 and a 2 and a 2B, and they were turbocraft, twin engine turbocraft aircraft for the short hops, the commuter airliners. And they would carry around, I think the largest one was 12 people, 12 passengers. And we went from, I think, 6 to 12, maybe more, I'm not sure. And they were working on a Learjet when they went bankrupt. But anyway, I was working there part-time when I was going to college. I was what they called the property accountant, which meant that I had to keep up with Swear Engine Aircraft property, which was basically a lot of pieces of equipment and some tools. They had a tool shed where they issued tools to employees, and then the employees would fall in love with them. So we had a real problem with theft of tools. That was my job, and it was fun. I worked 25 hours a week. But the company was not in good financial condition when I went to work with them. I was told that by the chief financial officer, which back then was called the controller or comptroller. But now they call him the chief financial officer. But this is about bankruptcy. But anyway, so my job was to mark all Swear Engine owned property with these little metal tags that you wipe this, I don't know, it was like an alcohol on the back of the metal tag, and it caused this stuff to dissolve, and then you stuck it on the metal, on the equipment, and once you stuck it, you couldn't get it off. I mean, it was there. I promise you. You could take a screwdriver and a hammer, and you couldn't get it off. It would bend. But anyway, so I marked equipment, made a few mistakes. I'll get into that in a minute, maybe. But the way it worked was this. I also worked in accounts payable part-time too. That was part of my job. So let me tell you, whenever a corporation gets to the point that they've got negative cash flow, which ELIO has, that means they've got accounts payable that they can't pay. It is the most miserable situation you ever want to be in your life. It's like an individual that can't pay their bills at home, and the bill collectors start calling. How much can you pay me today? And some of them at Swear Engine Aircraft, because these were big suppliers that relied heavily on Swear Engine Aircraft paying their bills so they could pay their bills. It's the old trickle down effect. But anyway, it was large numbers. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars. And some of these places were family-owned businesses, and it couldn't go without being paid. So anyway, in the accounting office where I was some of the time, these people would be lined up outside of the chief financial officer's door, and I mean, you would hear some words, folks. And so what the controller, chief financial officer's name was Doug, I'll give you that much. Anyway, he's a good guy, young guy, and what he would try to do, we had some receivables, some accounts receivable. I mean, people did owe us money for aircraft that had been bought, but some of those people were in financial difficulties too. Airlines are not your best bets as far as investments go, because they go up and down and up and down. As fuel prices go up, they go down. But anyway, so as we would get money in, old Doug would dole it out, like give them 10 cents on the dollar, just enough to keep them from killing him, I guess. And anyway, and I would try to keep the people lined up outside, and I would explain that, Doug was busy and he'd be with them in a minute, blah, blah, blah. And I would listen to their stories. Well, if he doesn't pay us, we're out of business. Our kids are going to go bankrupt. I mean, some hell of a story. And they were all true, I'm sure. So this is what ELIO is faced with right now. They've got people lined up that they owe money to, or number two, that they've made promises to, and these people have gone out and acquired inventory based on the fact that ELIO is going to start producing cars, and he ain't. And so you've got a real log jam, and it can get real ugly. Here, let me go on to the next chapter. As this company started going downhill, not only could they not pay the accounts payable, but the payroll was getting harder and harder to meet. And that's one of the things that you can't even avoid payroll in a bankruptcy. You're going to have to pay that somehow, or most of it. So anyway, Doug was trying to keep the people paid because we were trying to finish out some aircraft to deliver in hopes of the tooth fairy coming along and make it a large order if we could just hang on long enough, or that's what I was told. Well, the tooth fairy never came, and one day the paychecks went out on Thursdays. There was 3 shifts. And what they had done, they had cut back to 2 shifts. They had laid 1 shift off completely, that was the night shift. And so we were down to 2 shifts. And the way they laid the night shift off was really cold-blooded. That was part of that. What they did was, they had a time clock, and everybody had a time card with their name on it. And if you got believe it or not, a pink slip attached to your time card, that was your last check. That's it. There was you weren't called in the office and told what a wonderful guy you were and we're going to have to let you go. No. You got a pink slip on your time card along with your last paycheck, whether it was for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Whenever they cut you off, that was it. Whenever you clocked out, you were done. So one of my lovely jobs was to go down there when I got to work and take a handful of these pink slips along with the last paychecks and attach them to the time card. Well, it didn't take the guys long on the assembly line to realize that I was the Grim Reaper. And when they saw me coming, what they would do is they would gather around the time clock to see who was getting the axe. Okay? And naturally, they blamed me. Well, you son of a bitch. Well, you go fire old Joe. He's got 2 kids. I said, man, hang on, guys. I'm working here part-time. I'm struggling just like you are. But because, if you're in management, or they thought I was, I really wasn't. I was just working part-time. But you get that label. So anyway, they didn't physically attack me. I thought sometimes they might. They didn't. But I got blamed for all of it. But anyway, so you put on those pink slips with their last paycheck, and that was the end of that. But let me tell you what happened. As things got worse and worse, and it got to the point, I remember Doug telling me one day, he said, Rusty, he said, it's getting to the point that we've probably got about 2 weeks and the whole plant will be shut down. I couldn't believe it, that everybody that was in that plant would be gone within 2 weeks. That was about 250 people back then. Or before that, it was about 400. But anyway, so one Friday, I came in, Doug handed me a stack of pink slips and paychecks. I went down, and it was every time card, every one. It was everybody's last check. Anyway, I put them on there, and I got back to the office, and laying on the little desk I had was my pink slip and my last paycheck. And Doug wasn't even there. He was already gone. I had to lock the door on the way out. God damn cold-blooded bastard. Anyway, but that's business, and that's going to happen at ELIO, even though they've only got 19 employees. You know, be real, folks. Look at your own budget at home. If you got laid off from work and you don't have any money coming in and you can't borrow anymore, you may have a little bit in the bank, and when that's gone, it's over. Now, some of these wise guys may have rat-holed a little bit, which I'm sure they did. I think they did, I'm not sure. But, you know, I don't think they're going to make it. I think the pink slips are coming soon. That's my personal opinion. ELIO's hi-ya gone. But one of the good things I got to do at Swearingen Aircraft that was fun was they did make twin-engine turboprop aircraft that were very popular and very reliable. But whenever they got one finished, before they put the seats in and some of the other stuff, they had to fly it. They had to test fly it to be sure that everything worked properly. Well, what I would do is, I knew the old pilots, there was two of them, they had to have two on the aircraft. Anytime one of them went up, there had to be two pilots, a pilot and a co-pilot. Anyway, so I knew the guys. They only flew for about 30, 45 minutes. Just check things out, and then they'd land, and then they'd put seats in it, and that was ready to go. But every now and then I'd go flying with them. Little did I know how risky that was. I didn't even think about it, but there was no place to sit. You had to sit on the floor. Sometimes I'd take a 5-gallon bucket and turn it upside down and sit on it. And but it was fun. They'd fly around out in the hill country, and you know, they'd go up and down and make big turns. They'd do figure eights and all kind of stuff. And then when it landed, they'd taxi over to the hangar, and about after the engine shut down, about 15 guys would go all around it looking for, you know, rivets that were loose, and, you know, be sure the airframe was still airworthy. And I was fascinated by all that. But anyway, that was the upside of that. But back to bankruptcy. All I got to tell you about bankruptcy, folks, the ones that I've been involved in, is cold-blooded crap. Okay? It's not like it lingers. You know, just, it's like one day somebody walks up and turns the light switch off, and that's it. IT. All right? Now, there are those, the ones that are writing the checks have what I call the power of the checkbook. You know, they might do all right, because they might be able to hide a little bit of it. Here, I'll tell you a quickie. Every now and then I used to have to inspect the lunch boxes and stuff for the shifts. In other words, when they were leaving the plant, I would do what was called a surprise inspection. I'd show up down at the gate, and as they came out, they had to open their lunch box or whatever they brought in with them for me to inspect, to be sure they weren't carrying any tools out. You know, it's funny that a guy went into the plant that day weighing 120 pounds would come out weighing 460. You know what I mean? God damn, they carry out everything. But anyway, somehow, I mean, they had their underground network, but they always knew when I was coming, and I never did catch anybody. I mean, if I caught somebody, I never did, but if I would have, they'd have had to been brain dead, because I didn't want to catch anybody stealing, because I damn sure didn't want to get anybody fired that was going to get fired anyway. But anyway, what I would do after they all left, then I had to walk up from the gate to the plant. You'd find 15 tools on the way to the plant where they dumped them. God damn. Oh, God, but I couldn't blame them, man. Shit. Actually, back then, though, they were making a pretty good wage, because aircraft people, you know, assembly line people make pretty damn good money. Or at least they did. Having said all that, folks, I'm at Wally World, and that's where I'm going to go walking. And, you know, you guys that are hanging on to ELIO, I don't blame you. Shit, well, if you're in, you ain't got any choice anyway. You might as well enjoy the ride. Hell, it may work. You never know. Tooth Fairy may show up. Man, he's going to have deep pockets, but he's going to have to come in with about 250 million or more. But you never know. That's chump change for some people, believe it or not, and not me. I can give them $20. Maybe no, I could. I ain't either. But be that as it may, folks. Enjoy your day. This is Rusty 78609 in Central Texas, USA, and fixing to go do my walking. Don't forget your resolution revolution. Y'all get up and do it, whatever it is. Thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye, 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 USA made when you can. Drink plenty of water, take deep breaths, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, stretch and walk for exercise, and we'll be together next year because you'll be healthy and I'll be healthy, right? Anyway, ELIO people, good luck to you. Adios, bye-bye.